It's Wednesday, it's noon, and I've got a freaking bright light in my face. How's it going, everybody? Jeff Zahler, Zahler Properties, ZP Live, episode 48. We're almost to 50, which is great. So decided to splurge, bought some new stuff. So we got a new mic going on, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better. And we got a very bright makeup light, believe it or not. So coming to you live in Summerlin. Hope everybody's having a really good week. We wanted to talk this week. Don't want it to sound somber or anything. And again, want to remind people the sky is not falling, but we are entering a little bit of a change in the market. We've been seeing it a little bit more lately, and want to kind of talk about it and what it really means. Spoiler alert: the market is still strong, so don't worry. We're not seeing anything gigantic change, but we have noticed some changes in the market here in the last couple weeks, and kind of want to talk to you about what the new normal is going to be. This is a term that Sydney and I in the investment world used about a decade ago. So when it started using it again, we felt it was relevant to kind of start bringing back into real estate terms here and talk about what the new normal really is and what we can kind of expect it to be in the next 18 months or for the next couple of years, if you will. So overall, what we're seeing is across the country, we have seen a little bit of a slowdown. We are still in a seller's market, as defined by kind of the general levels of inventory, but we've definitely seen a slight slowdown of that. Here in Las Vegas specifically, I always like to say, rather than getting 15 offers within the first hour, you're still getting offers. You're still getting offers very, very close to ask, if not asking or higher, but they may not be coming in as hot and heavy. Now, this is, again, just the average. Not every single house is going to be the same. Some of them are still going to get multiple offers. But the general consensus we've seen, and we've got some stats to kind of back it up, is things are going to take a little bit longer. So there are some ways to kind of combat that, but also at the same time, it's really more of a mindset if you're buying or selling, or if you're an agent out there, of what you kind of expect over the next couple of years. So when I say slowing, I'm not saying negative, right? So this is obviously just my opinion on where the market is and everything like that, but I don't see any negative downturn in the market. I'm seeing a slowing, right? And we're going to probably expect a slowing here, maybe not right away, but in the next 18 months or so, we're going to start seeing this real shift, and I want to start talking about it now. But what that means is we're not going to have these years of multi and double-digit gains, right? No more 10, 12, 14% gains year over year. We're probably going to get into more of a plateauing where you see a 2 to 4% annualized increase. So again, we're still going to see gains, just kind of more of a normalized market, if you will. That's also going to lead to think longer sales times, right? We're still going to sell. If it's priced right, it's still going to move. But you maybe, as a seller, hold on to the home for 30, 45 days, 60 days or so before you're actually in the position that you're going to be selling the home. And, I hate to even say the words market adjustment or price reduction, if you will, but we're going to come up to that time frame where you can't just pick a price, throw it on a map, and have the home sold. So that's kind of what we're seeing a shift in. Things are selling. They're still selling for very close to the asking price, but they're taking a little bit longer. There's a lot of reasons for that, right? What goes up must come down. That's gravity, if we know it. But also at the same time, we've had now 10 plus years, or in Las Vegas, really about 7 strong years of unlimited growth, if you will. We also had interest rates at extremely low levels. That's the other thing that's going to talk about. So buyers are now going to be paying more for every mortgage than they were, in the last few years. And I always say, just expect to see 6% hit as a regular interest rate before we dip below 4% again. Okay. So, long gone are the days of 3.875, 4 1/4, 4 1/8. Some programs may have things that are in that mid 4 level still, but really we're in the 5 range, and we're going to be, like I said, we're going to hit 5 before we dip below 4 again. So that again is going to be part of the new normal. It just means that money is going to be more expensive, and each buyer is going to be paying more for those houses. Forget about the actual price increase, but just dollars to dollar, to compare the two. buyers are going to be spending more than they were a year ago, 2 years ago, and they will spend more next year than they are today. So if you're thinking about buying, buy now, because rates are going to go higher, not lower. The other thing is agents out there, sorry, I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, but you're going to have to start doing more to earn your keep, right? Long are going to be the days that we wish that you could just throw the home on the MLS and have multiple offers. As a seller, you need to make sure that your agent is actively selling your property, not just relying on the MLS and I'm going to do an open house or two. Open houses, I hate to say it, open houses are actually for agents. They're not for the home. They're for agents to get more clients that they can work with. So there's going to be more. And so when you're interviewing agents, please make sure that they know what they're doing. Make sure that they've been able to work in markets that they actually have to work. Make sure they actually have a marketing plan together that is tried and true. It's not just, hey, I'm going to do this or maybe do that. It's, this is what I do every single time. I don't care what the market is. I don't care how hot the market is. We go above and beyond what we do, even when we know we could throw it on the MLS, because that's how we operate our business. Somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to be able to tell you right away, this is our plan from A to Z. We're going to get it done. As I said, we're already actually seeing a shift here in Las Vegas. It's kind of happening a little bit slower than everywhere else, which is good for us here in Vegas. But just the last 7 days, we've actually seen 864 price decreases in the MLS. And that's to compare to, we only had 868 homes sold in that same time frame. So we've had an equal amount of homes actually close escrow in the last week as actually said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we need to lower the price. So that's an interesting thing. We actually are monitoring all these stats, and we're kind of watching the trends. And we're seeing more price decreases than we have in the last couple of years. So expect to see that more often now too. So if you're a buyer, again, if the home is priced right and it's just first on the market, I wouldn't wait for a price reduction because it may not happen. But those homes that have been on the market a little bit longer are starting to see price adjustments. We just got a client into a property, into contract that is about $45,000 less than what they initially listed the home for. And this, that's about a 10%, 12% drop in price reduction. So that's a big price reduction. The home was overpriced 6 months ago. It may have been sold real quick, but in today's market, the buyers are realizing, hey, maybe we need to pull back a little bit and wait to see what happens. I started with this. The sky is not falling, people. So don't worry, right? The sky is not falling. We're just seeing an adjustment, and this is kind of the new normal market out there, if you will. So that's kind of when you hear us talk, and if you're one of our clients or one of our agents, you're going to hear us talk about this new normal a lot over the next 18 months as we kind of prepare and come off this emotional high we've had in Las Vegas since 2011 or so. We were one of the worst hit markets in the country during the Great Recession. But when we came out of it, we were one of the hottest, and we are still one of the hottest real estate markets in the entire country. You've probably heard me say we're probably not just in the entire country, maybe the hottest real estate market on planet Earth right now. We are going to still be so, but we are plateauing. Again, no more double-digit gains. We're still going to have double digits for 2018. That's the fact. We're already almost there, even though we're only 8 months into the year. We'll probably have something very close to double digits in 2019. That's maybe 8%, maybe 9%, maybe we do hit 10%. But we are coming into that period, probably in 2020, that we're going to start seeing a softening and a slowing down of gains. Speaking of 2020, don't want to get too economical with you, but I did write some notes today. Talking about recession, right? That's a word that everybody's scared of. It makes it sound like it's really scary. It makes it sound like the sky is falling. But I actually did pull some quick stats here and want to kind of talk about recession. So putting on my economics hat, a recession technically is when we have negative growth for our gross domestic product for 2 consecutive quarters. So basically it's 6 months of declining growth for our GDP. Now, some people add other things. Some people will add or take things away. But really, it's how the economy is. The economy growing or is it contracting? So if it's negative growth, so the economy can be still growing, but if it's growing by less than it had been, that's considered negative growth. So two consecutive quarters of negative growth starts recession, and then 2 consecutive quarters of positive growth is when a recession terminates. So how many recessions have we had? Going back as long as you want to go back, I decided to go back and starting with the first one, it's the Great Depression, if you will. We've actually had, so since 1929, the economy has had 14 recessions over that 89-year period. So it's not a lot over that amount of time. Recessions, the lengths of recessions have lasted between 6 months. That's technically the lowest they can be because it has to be at least 6 months, all the way up to 3 years and 7 months. So as crazy as our last situation sounded like it was, that one was only roughly about a year and a half, and the longest one was during the Great Depression. There was 3 years, 7 months of technical recession. Most recessions are really only in that 10 to 18 month time frame. So we kind of hit a cycle. We have a little bit of contracting. We get through it. Payrolls tend to go down. Unemployment may go up a little bit, but then we pull out of it within a year to year and a half or so. Another one, and you've heard me talk about this before, and I'm sorry this is a longer one, but I kind of wanted to get geeky a little bit today. Of the 14 recessions we've had since the Great Depression, only one has been caused by housing, and that's obviously the last one we've had. A lot of the other ones were fiscal policy, or obviously we had the stock market crash for the ones in the 30s. The ones in the 70s, a lot of it was OPEC and oil, oil caused and everything like that. But really, of the last 14 recessions we have had as an economy, only this last one was one that is actually caused by housing. So technically, since this last one, we pulled out of this last recession in June of 2009, which gives us a period of over 9 years without a recession. That's a long time for growth without some kind of hiccup. So again, what goes up must come down. It's almost time, and if we talk about the next year or so, we're going to be pushing on the longest time frame in between recessions in the last 80 plus years. Dating back to the Great Depression, this is actually already the second longest period of sustained growth we've had. The longest period being the 90s. We had basically between 91, I believe, and 2000 or 2001 when we had the kind of the tech bubble burst. So this is already the second longest gap we've had in between recessions in over 80, almost 90 years. So recession is part of the economy, people. It's part of everything. Housing will be softened a little bit, but we're still going to start seeing this new normal growth of, things will more match sustained and long-term growth. I've always said it's great when you make 10, 15% on your house in a year. It feels really awesome. But if you look at historical records over 100 years of data, housing really is not supposed to do what it's been doing the last 20, 25 years with the big spikes. If you look at it, it's a real soft kind of movement up, and I think that's what we're going to start seeing. So if you're selling and you want a deal, if you want multiple offers and you're thinking about holding off for a year or so, you're still going to, my crystal ball says you're still going to probably make some money. But if you want that high volume of sale buyers right away, it may now be the best time to do so. If you're thinking about selling in the future, make sure that you're talking to an agent that knows how to handle the market and it can have those tough discussions with you. Because sometimes having that, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I think we need to have a price reduction, is not had, and that's a disservice to you as a seller, right? You pay us a lot of money to provide value. You pay us a lot of money to give you news that you don't necessarily want to hear, but sometimes have to hear. So make sure you're using an agent and a realtor that actually knows what they're doing, has a full marketing plan that can get your home sold in any market, and go from there. And if you're a buyer, I would love to say it's time for a shopping spree, but that's not the case. But you may start seeing a little bit more price reductions on homes, and you may see some homes sit on the market a little bit longer. But again, if you're out there looking and you need to buy because it's time to buy, or you have a tax situation or whatever, if you see that house you like, do not wait, because somebody else is probably in the same situation you are. So a little bit longer today, but wanted to kind of talk about everything. You're going to hear us talk about the new normal a lot. Again, the sky is not falling, people. We're all good. Everything's good. Economies expand, economies retract, but overall things are great. And if you have any questions about any of this, please let us know. There's a lot of information here, and if you found any information just remotely important to you, we'd really, really appreciate it if you give us a like on any of these pages, and more importantly, share it, because if you share it, it will open it up to other people that may not be able to see this video, and we'd love the opportunity to share some of this knowledge with our general public, and if we can help one extra person on this, that's worth these videos. So until next week, Jeff Zahler, Zahler Properties, signing off on episode 48 of ZP Live. Take care, everybody.